9 days of football that will swallow the planet whole.
From the roar of the Azteca to the lights of the MetLife Stadium, this is where legends are forged and hearts are broken. Spain arrive as kings of Europe, France come hunting for revenge, and somewhere in the blue and white, Lionel Messi chases one last dance. Underdogs dreaming, giants trembling, a single touch, a single breath can rewrite a nation's history.
The wait is over. The stage is set. 6 billion people are watching. This is the World Cup on the Final VAR. And joining us tonight now, we jump straight into a look of the 12 groups in the tournament. Take it away, Mariah.
All right, but before we start with Group A, at this point, we're going to introduce a very, very special guest, Senator, of course, David Naked. You would have represented the Soca Warriors, of course, captained the team. So it's a pleasure to have you here because we're bringing you in for that expert advice, we have to tell you.
Well, nice to be here. Looking forward to it.
All right, so we're going to start by looking at the groups. Let's take a look at Group A. All right, in Group A, Mexico, South Africa, South Korea, and Czechia. Now, of course, today Mexico prevailed against South Africa. And Senator Naked, you know, at the start of the competition, we would have felt as if Mexico would be favorites. Based on what you saw from the match, I know you have a busy schedule, but based on what you saw from the match today, anything really stood out for you?
What stood out for me was how poor South Africa was.
Yeah.
I never expected South Africa in 2026 to be such a poor team. They weren't comfortable on the ball. They weren't sure how to set up defensively. They weren't sure when and where to press the ball. And they left so much space. And even when they tried to press the ball, they were poor at pressing. What we used to look for in African teams, for sure, guaranteed, was athleticism and strength. We saw none of those from South Africa. We saw a lack of skill. And Mexico completely dominated the game.
Yeah, and the fact that Julian Quiñones scored from the onset, I think that gave Mexico and, of course, the fans that confidence because you saw how many other opportunities he picked up. And then, you know, that brings into the discussion Mexico playing at home, the confidence, knowing the altitude, because there's always that talk about going to play in Mexico. Have you ever played in Mexico?
Of course, I've played at the
Okay, so tell us.
It's not easy. You feel it in your chest. It's very difficult. The air is thinner. It's it's at altitude, but it's an experience worth going through. And so, but I'm sure that's not the reason why they prevailed as strongly as they did. I think Hugo Bros got it completely wrong when and where to press the Mexicans, and the Mexicans looked untroubled throughout the game. And one thing I know, I've played against Mexico several times, you have to put them under pressure, especially when they come into the final third of the field. And basically that wasn't done, and Mexico had a comfortable first game.
Yeah, at no point.
I think the atmosphere at the start of the broadcast really set the tone for it as well because there was no commentary and all you heard was the roar of the Mexican fans inside the Azteca. So I think, as you mentioned, Minister Naked, that, you know, it just set the tone. That is their first line of defense, if you want to call it, and offense against any side playing in Mexico. So I think that really started the tempo for the tournament on a whole. And I mean, what better place to start than Mexico?
Yeah, well, 85,000 cheering you on is always going to be a serious 12-man. And of course, that will always help Mexico. They've always relied heavily on their fans and their fan base. And South Africa really and truly didn't look the part. Sorry to say, but they didn't look the part at all.
You expect any major changes? You expect coach to make any major changes in the South African side because they can't continue like that. At no point they looked in control.
Correct, absolutely correct. Yeah, I expect a lot of changes. I mean, at this point in time, he has no choice. He has the second game for him as a must-win, and he would have to make the changes and to perhaps put some fire in the team that they missed, and maybe a little bit of creativity that they missed as well.
They were definitely playing catch-up for most of the games, even when they had passes and interceptions and stuff like that. I mean, that's a little bit of American football. But anyways, interception in football.
It's there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You would see the South Africans literally sprinting behind the Mexican forwards. and that resulted in a red card for one of them, the
Well,
first
so
red card.
many cards today too.
Yeah.
More red cards on goals, actually.
Exactly. Yeah. 3 red cards. Well, in 2022, I think we had 4 red cards for the whole tournament.
Yes.
So, well, that it's going to be a tough World Cup. The heat is an issue as well, and it's going to get tougher as the games go on. But what we can look forward to, hopefully, is a more competitive South African team, a team that shows a bit of creativity and skill that we look forward for from African teams.
Yeah.
And hopefully they can give the next opponent a lot more trouble than they gave Mexico today.
Yeah, and now that this first game is done and dusted, can we all agree? I mean, you can disagree if you want, that Mexico is going to top this group based on what we saw?
Well, South Africa has some world-class players on their team as well. Czechia as well. I saw the last game Czechia played before the start of this World Cup, and they have a solid group of players as well. So you never know on the day, but Mexico, by all measures, should top this group.
Yeah,
You're
then
right.
his South African goalkeeper too, somebody to really watch, because I found him to be impressive. If there's one person that was impressive today.
Well, he might be impressive as a shot stopper, but his distribution and choice of passes was a problem. He brutally gave them. Although the touch from the central midfielder was poor, he also gave Mexico thereafter a similar chance to score as well. So other than his distribution, he's not bad.
Yeah. Well, let's take a look now at Group B, because some really, really exciting teams in Group B: Canada, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Qatar and Switzerland. So Canada also one of the hosts, and I just get the feeling, Senator Nakin, that the teams playing at home just come in with that sort of energy. It doesn't always work that way, but from what I saw today, what can you say about this Group B, and just who are your favorites?
For this group, I would like Bosnia and Herzegovina to go through.
Okay.
Obviously, I back them completely. And they have some top-class players. Hopefully, Edin Dzeko will be fit.
Yes.
He had some injury problems, and he's 40 years old, considering the heat and all that. But I would like Bosnia and Herzegovina to go through. And I think Switzerland, it will be a toss-up between Switzerland and Canada for second place. And seeing that I lived in Switzerland for 4 years, I would go with Switzerland before Canada.
Definitely. I think Canada and Switzerland will be the top two to go through. We would like to see Bosnia, as Mr. Nakid said, but I think, upsets happen. And this is one of the groups that I think anything can happen.
And as you say that, last year, one of the last World Cup, not last year, one of the teams that had stood out for me, Morocco, came out of nowhere. And as she said that, it just brought back memories, because we found ourselves, talking about that team throughout the tournament. And, when I did the preview into that World Cup, not once would I had guessed that Morocco would have done so well.
Well, if we look at the history of Moroccans that play in Europe, they've been there for a long time. They've gotten the experience. The Moroccan Football Federation has invested a lot of money in the infrastructure within Morocco over the last decade. When you combine all of that, the Moroccan league, domestic league, is quite strong as well. When you combine all of that with players getting the experience in Europe, you have Hakimi, you don't need to talk about Brahim Diaz, you have the whole host of players in our top clubs. You're going to get the kind of performances that we see from Morocco. And, you're making the similarities with Bosnia. It could be the same. No one speaks about them, but they could the dark horse that Morocco was, yes.
Yeah, let's take a look now at Group C, because I know we have some exciting matchups coming up, and I can't wait to talk about one particular team. Let's see what we have here in Group C. Brazil, Morocco, as we were just talking about, Haiti and Scotland. Now, without a doubt, we know a lot of Trinis love Brazil for whatever reason.
I think it's a Caribbean thing.
True. Because I lived in Jamaica for some time, and they love Brazil as well.
Correct.
It's as if, I don't know if the green makes them think it's Jamaica, but they love Brazil. And now, with Carlo Ancelotti, so the only reason Brazil gets my attention is because of Don Carlo, because I have so much respect for him. And I feel as if it's anybody who could control all the egos at a club, is Don Carlo.
True. But that does not account for maybe a lack of the typical creative Brazilian player that we saw in the past.
We had an argument about this just last week.
Yeah,
Was it for our promo?
That's correct.
yes, the Brazilian player that we have now is made in Europe, not so much made in Brazil as before. And when we look back the days of Falcao and Socrates and Zico, and they were made in Brazil. Now Brazilian players go abroad early, and the only exception we've seen in the last probably decade would be Neymar.
Yeah, and what about him? Because that
Vinicius?
injury.
Vinicius, yeah, but when you're talking top echelon players, they're talking about Neymar. And if he's fit, a fit Neymar could make all the difference.
But is he? Because
Reports are that he's not fit, but hopefully it could be a bit of a tactical strategy from Don Carlo, as you said. He's a very shrewd tactician.
Yes.
And he will give Neymar enough time. He recognizes in a tournament like this, Neymar is a tournament player.
Yeah,
You know,
he
big
likes
players,
the big stage.
Yes, big players tend to rise to the tournaments. And
Yeah.
that's how it is.
Well, let's take a glimpse now at Group D.
By the way, sorry, Haiti is my favorite for that group.
Okay, well, now that we have that
Surprise.
clear, now that we have that clear, Group D, the United States, a lot of talk about the United States, Paraguay, Australia, and Turkey. The talk about United States is, of course, all the political aspects that are assigned to the competition, and I mean, it's no secret. But again, a home team, the fans coming out, the coaching staff, some of their players also very, very talented.
Well, they'll have the home support for sure. They'll have that confidence. They have the typical American fighting spirit. But I see them as the first team to go home from between United States, Canada,
That's
and
a big
Mexico.
statement. You're going to have to back that up there now, Senator.
I believe that they are the first of the three host-team countries to go home. I really
The
believe
bus
so.
ticket
The-
booked.
I'm looking at the talent and the team. They haven't done well in the last months under Pochettino. They haven't done well at all. They're not playing the kind of football that their best American teams played in the past. So based on that, I don't give them much of a chance. That's not an easy group. Turkey have some dark horses in that.
Do you
in that
think
group.
there's a gap between Mauricio Pochettino and these US players? Like, he's not getting through to them? Because when you look at his coaching acumen for some time, it worked at some places. But I don't know if there's a disconnect between these set of US players and what he's trying to do. Different cultures, maybe?
I've always said this. It's going to be extremely difficult for a Central American, South American to coach an American team, a United States
A gap
team.
in culture?
Exactly. I believe so. And a gap in belief from the national team. I believe as they are a bit like Trinidad now. They're not producing the kind of players that they produced in the past at all. They have a couple of players, of course. The guy who plays at Milan, what's his name again? Pulisic, exactly.
Christian Pulisic.
They have a player who's up there, but they don't have the quality across the board that I think that will make them a serious contender to come out of that group.
Yeah. Next group?
And then we'll move on now to Group E, one of my favorite groups.
What's up? What's so good about this group?
Germany,
Okay, what else?
Ivory Coast.
Germany has, I feel as if Germany has disappointed their fans
And
for
I think
quite
it's
some time.
a fan favorite as a dark horse, Curacao.
It's a very dark horse.
Dark horse, yeah.
Germany will always produce consistent, good football, as they normally do in tournaments. They are very much a tournament team. I would like Ivory Coast. I would like an African team to reach a final of a World Cup and win it. Especially this one, especially where it's taking place. So I'm backing Ivory Coast. I think they have enough players playing at the highest level to really do well. Germany will be up there, but the other two teams, Ecuador and Curacao, no chance.
Sorry to burst your all bubbles there. Senator Nackett said no Curacao was a dark horse. So we quickly move on to the next group and let's see who we have. Could this be another one of my favorite pots?
I love how he's giving these predictions now. So anything happens, I can pull the tape back for him.
So for me, Group F actually has my tournament dark horse, as in the
How many
Netherlands.
dark horses she has?
No, Curacao wasn't my dark horse. I said that was a fan favorite dark horse, right?
Zero.
Okay.
You need to pick one.
my two dark horses for this tournament are the Netherlands and Japan.
Okay.
And Japan.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and they were both actually in the same group. So that has been my predicament since the draw. But tell
agree
us
with
what
her?
you
Is she
think.
onto something?
Netherlands, I think this is probably their strongest team in a long time. They have players, Van Dijk, and players that can make a difference going forward. Gakpo and players who are playing in the biggest clubs.
Yes.
Japan will always bring some industry and some surprise. Sweden also have a couple players up there playing in top, but I never like to dispel. I think these North African teams do well at tournaments, and if Tunisia hits their stride, they have a couple players who can make a difference. They have a couple difference makers as
Yeah.
well.
I would say this is not my favorite group, and I want to move on.
I think this is a group with the possibility that any one of them could actually come out of it. It's
Yeah.
not to say like they are clear
Yeah.
favorites to say these
Agreed.
are the two that will go forward.
Yeah, so I'm
So-
going to move to G.
Fine.
Yeah,
Take it
let's see
away.
what we have here. I feel like I'm not getting to the team that I want to talk about. G. All right, Belgium, Egypt, Iran, and New Zealand. Senator?
Of course, I'd like the 1-2 to be Egypt and Iran, but it will not be. I think Belgium they have a good young group, core group. They have players definitely who can make a difference in the last 35 meters and win a game for Belgium. I think the last team they had was a bit on the wrong side of 30. And this group is a bit younger, although De Bruyne and they will still be there.
Yeah. But he's a lot older and has suffered with a lot of injuries.
He has. But
was one of my
they have
favorites.
some good young players coming in as well,
Yeah.
and they're on the team. And I played. My best years in Europe was when I played in Belgium, and they've always been a sentimental favorite for me.
Good.
So I hope they get through. I hope they come through along with Iran.
Yeah.
That's my two.
Can we move on now to H? Well, another one of my favorites. Spain.
Spain for me because of you know who, that youngster, Lamine Yamal.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Spain is the football factory of Europe, if we're being fair.
It is
I
right
mean,
now.
and the competition is top
Yeah.
class.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they produce the best
La
players,
Liga, I love.
best young players.
So for me,
This is probably one of the easiest groups.
Yeah,
Spain,
yeah.
Spain. Cape Verde has done well in the last few African Cup editions. Uruguay will always come with a strong team, full of defensive fight and industry. Saudi Arabia, they have been unpredictable in tournaments, but I don't think they will offer much of a fight. So I think Uruguay
And Spain for you.
and Spain will go through.
Yeah, I agree. Next group. All right, so France, Iraq, and Norway. Norway because of one Erling Haaland. So, yeah.
France, my girl. That's my team for the
France
tournament.
continuously has been making the semi-finals, and that's
Senator
it.
Naked is laughing here.
And I mean the finals, and then that's a wrap for them after that.
I'll go out on a
Kylian
limb. I'll go out on a limb here. Senegal and Iraq gonna surprise a lot of people. I'm not
So-
saying they're gonna get results, but I saw a game with Spain and Iraq, the last game, and Iraq played some football. Let me tell you. So I'm not saying they're gonna win, but they're gonna surprise a lot of people. I'm hoping Senegal hits their stride early and get some good results, and then I think France and Senegal should come through this tournament. I don't think Norway, despite the fact that they have
The goal machine.
the goal machine, but you have to create chances for the goal machine. And
This is what I keep telling Mariah.
and Manchester City is not there. So
Exactly what I told her.
Listen, let me just move along, please. I'm controlling this right now. All right, so the defending champions, the one and only Argentina, and then the rest of the teams.
let me say it publicly here, I will never back Argentina for anything.
I have heard that by so many people.
I will never back Argentina for anything, given their history of racism and black extermination. I will never back
Okay,
them
but
for
as
anything.
a lover of football and somebody who understands and recognizes quality football, and you put that aside, right?
What I do recognize is that you cannot separate politics from sport, although you might claim to do so. No, I am not back Argentina. I love Messi. I love Diego Maradona. I mean, I love Diego Maradona. But no, I will not back
I feel like
Argentina.
I'm pleading in a case here. Okay, well, you are not backing Argentina. But you know what? Let's just talk about the fact that this will be the last time we see Lionel Messi at the World Cup, and just accept and appreciate what he would have done for football.
Well, we accepted and appreciate what he done in 2022. And we're happy that he won and he got his World Cup, but I ain't backing him this World Cup at all, and then back him last World Cup, you know what I mean? And Roberts might disagree, but...
I am getting a little bit of, you know...
I think you have Mariah sweating
No.
here.
No.
I am ready for him.
No, we wish him the best. You know, we want to see the best players shine.
Yeah.
In the end, we come to see football and we hope the best players do well. But I'm not backing Argentina and hoping that they do well at all. Never.
But, you know, I didn't get
Alright,
any
let's
vibe
not-
as to who his team was.
Who is?
Who is your team?
My team? My team is any of the African teams that can come.
Fair
through.
enough.
Okay.
All right.
A political answer.
Group K.
No.
Group K now. From Messi to?
Ronaldo.
He looked a little tired. What do you have to say about him? Because he didn't have any time for my Messi. So what do you have to say for Portugal?
Well,
He's-
it's gonna be, you know, this is not a very difficult group, to be honest. And he has a good supporting cast. He will always score goals if he gets the opportunities. He's not the Ronaldo of 10 years ago. Yeah, he's definitely, I think he's 40 now.
So the team has to carry him as opposed to what he would have done previously. He would have carried
Well,
teams.
they have to carry him until they reach in the box.
Right.
Then he carries the team.
Right.
And in the end, goals win matches. And if you could find somebody with a streak of scoring form, that can make the difference. Look at Paulo Rossi in 1982. You know, nobody heard of him for a year or 2 years, banned and all of that. Nobody counted on him. And then all of a sudden, he had scoring form and Italy won the World Cup.
Yes.
So you never know. Ronaldo is always a threat.
Yeah. The final group? England, Croatia, Ghana, and Panama. I know a lot of talk about that England squad, and mainly because of the coach, Thomas Tuchel. People have a lot of time for him, and you're laughing. So anybody that I agree with, you think is a joke. So tell me.
No. Anytime I see England, people talk about England, I remember George Best used to say, English players are good in England. They're only good in England and the English league. Once they come out the tournaments, they don't see them, you know?
That was a lot of the commentary in the British press, probably within the last 2 weeks, and especially
Yeah.
when the team was named, and they said, you know, you have all these superstars in it, but what can they do on the world stage they've never done before?
Yeah, and I've seen them play, and it's true. In the end, when you go into these tournaments, you need people who can handle the ball.
Yes.
You need ball handlers. And normally the teams that win the World Cup, they have players who are comfortable under pressure, get themselves out of trouble, because the pressure is intense. It's intense. The heat, the pressure from the other players, pressure from the crowd. And if players can handle themselves in tight situations on the ball, you're not going to win. And I don't think England has enough ball handlers
Right.
to win this tournament.
We have Arsenal players though. But anyways, we'll talk about that.
So you're supporting them too? She just said we.
No, I mean England.
Yeah.
But that certainly is a lot of football to look forward to over the next 39 days. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this break.
The plays that shake the arenas. The stories that move a nation.
And we're in for a super over. They've got to go quick. They've got to go quick.
From football to cricket, track to tennis, every win, every rivalry, every headline. This is where Trinidad and Tobago come for sports.
TTT Sports. Committed, accurate, relevant.
Hi, everybody. I am Leah.
And I'm Dion.
And we are the Duncans. Listen, we're here to tell you about a project the Lord has given to us called the Marriage Confessional. It is geared toward married couples, those that are on the road to marriage, and those that want to get married one day.
So join us on TTT and on Facebook and YouTube at TTT Live Online.
The Marriage Confessional, only on TTT.
Ever wondered what happens before the lights come on? Before the crowd pours in? Before the magic hits the stage? This is your all-access pass. Sneak Peek with Junior K takes you behind the scenes of the biggest cultural moments and the hottest events across TNT. From the sound checks to the stage setups, from final rehearsals to exclusive interviews. If it's about to be big, we're already there. Catch Sneak Peek airing daily on TTT and relive every moment on all our social media platforms. Sneak Peek with Junior K, where the story starts before the spotlight.
Welcome back to the Final VAR. This segment is powered by B-Mobile, keeping you connected to every thrilling moment on TNT's fastest mobile network. Stream it, share it, watch it live for just TT $20 with B-Mobile's prepaid Match Pass. Get unlimited LTE data for the entire game, no interruptions. Dial 123# on your B-Mobile phone and get in on the action today. And we have some giveaways now. Yeah?
We'll be having a lot of giveaways coming up throughout the show. So we're going to keep the giveaways for the next show, but we're plugging it now to let them know that they're going to be getting, unlimited data, they'll be getting free calls, all these different things courtesy B-Mobile, but you have to keep it locked to the Final VAR to find out what you can win. So we're up on this segment now. Its titled Rep Your Team, so you know what that means. We're going to be hearing from you, the viewers, the fans, and we love to hear from you. So let's start with the first viewer that would have sent us a... All right, so we're going to hear it now.
Yeah, I believe it's from Kerry.
Yeah, can we hear from Kerry?
Yo, this is Kerry Porter from Tobago Sports Live, and I'm back in France because of my boy Mbappe for the World Cup 2026. Let's do this, France!
So we have here Senator Trini back in France, and of course, today's day one, right? So people are excited, but I feel like the real energy comes down to like the quarterfinals. You know how the bandwagon is and they jump on?
Correct.
But we're hearing from a Trinidadian who's supporting France. Anything you want to say to Kerry?
Good luck.
Hey!
Rep your team, boy, Kerry. Rep your team, boy.
Don't worry about him and his good luck.
I write alongside you because we are supporting France together.
Next one, please. Gerard has something to say.
Hey, Jared here, big Argentina fan. Been backing them since I know myself, since the days of Vera and Ortega, Batistuta. Crest was my favorite player ever. I think they can do it. I know people like to say it's the curse of the winners and da-da-da-da-da. You can't do the back-to-back, but I think they have what it takes to do it again. But this World Cup will be grueling. It will not be enough to win games 1-0, 1-0 and tight. They'll have to be a little more clinical. But I think the defense is solid, the midfield is solid, and the attack is the attack. So I'm very confident. And of course, a couple dark horses. I like Sweden. I like Sweden and Norway. I like the balance that they have, and I think they can cause some upsets. So yeah, big up Argentina. Let's go.
I think Gerard, I feel we need to bring him on the Final VAR because all that analysis, he's sounding like he will take your spot.
Well, back in Argentina, I doubt he take a nice.
I was all about to ask if Gerard and Mariah had a conversation.
No, we didn't. First time I'm hearing from Gerard, eh?
Well, Messi, even in 2022, was on his last legs. I'll be quite honest with you.
Yeah, he struggled.
Yeah, he did well. He was clinical as he always is. He might be a non-factor, to be honest. And I hope he doesn't go out in a undignified way. Just let me play that way.
I've always seen you as like a lover. the vibe I'm getting right now.
I hate
But
that.
yes, and this is not
No,
you. Come on, do better.
I'm a lover, but not for Argentina.
All right. Let's not make me have to bring out a red card here. We're gonna move on to our next caller, Greg. I think it is.
This is Greg, and I support in Portugal for the World Cup. Only for a controversial reason, but my friends burn me right now. I don't care. I don't care my friends burn me, but I'm supporting them because I'm fed up with this talk about Messi is the greatest footballer just because he won a World Cup with 20-something other players on one team. He's just won a 20-something. In a sense, so just because I want Christie to win the World Cup, I want to see what people are going to say now, how they're going to separate them once again, because they're using that as the separator for Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. If Cristiano Ronaldo has a title now, how are they going to separate the both of them?
Well, we move to our topic now. That's a little bit controversial, with Haiti being forced to change their design of their World Cup jersey after it was deemed too political by FIFA. The jersey originally included a depiction of the final battle of the Haitian War of Independence in 1803. Kit manufacturer SATA said in a statement that the design was intended as a tribute to the men and women who contribute every day to Haiti's future. Senator Nakid. Yeah. Can you talk us through a little bit about your thoughts on this?
Well, Haiti, being the first black country to win its independence by force against France, has been a symbol to all of us. Throughout the Caribbean, throughout Africa, to any oppressed people. And this is Infantino showing us what a colonial mindset, what an imperial clown that he is. When faced with the reality, he has always wilted. I mean, you just look at Russia and Ukraine. Russia has been banned from world football, and Israel has carried out a genocide in Gaza, now in Lebanon, and they continue to go unscathed. And we have to be honest and in our assessment of these things. Haiti has an emblem that shows who they are. Why would you tell them they cannot wear that on their jerseys? If, of course, I would love to have been the captain at this point in time of Haiti, I would have made sure we did not play a game in that World Cup. I would have stood up for not only for Haiti, but for all oppressed people, for all countries that have fought against oppression and won. And that's why the Europeans, no matter what they say, no matter how they have this veil of moral superiority, they are nothing. And Infantino has shown us his filthy, disgusting self by banning that jersey. I mean, look at that. That's a symbol of their pride. If America had done the same thing with the battle of whatever they won their independence, you think Infantino could have told America not to wear those jerseys? Never in a million years. Infantino is a disgusting clown, and he deserves to step down. He deserves to be fired. But our people don't do it.
Well, we have one more voice note that was just sent in. So we'll go back to Lazar, I believe it is.
Hey guys, good night. This is Lazar chiming in. My pick to win this year's World Cup is England. I've been an England fan from ever since, and I believe under Tuchel, they could bring it home this year. For years, people are always saying that England need a coach that put the team ahead of stars. I believe the England coach Thomas Tuchel was right to leave Palmer and Foden home, and I believe the squad is more balanced and has what it takes. And also, England need a coach when the going gets tough, he's not afraid to make changes. And that is what I believe cost England the Euros against who it was, Spain, where they struggle, and Southgate was afraid to make changes. And I believe Tuchel is the man who would make the tough decisions in the big games. And also, the man is a proven winner. Come on. He won Champions League with Chelsea in 2021. You can't get more proof than that. England all the way.
Fan.
He is a Chelsea fan, and I think he's still heartbroken.
All I
and
am hearing is Chelsea.
What's his name? I advise him to stay with Chelsea before England.
Adrian Lazar.
Adrian Lazar. Stay with Chelsea. You might have more success with them than England.
Yeah, but you know, it's always so refreshing when you hear from different football
Of
fans.
course.
You would have played, right? And one of the things in your experience is today you're loved and tomorrow you're not. When the team is winning, everybody is your 12th man. You know, they're behind
Correct.
you. But of course, when the team is not doing well, you know, you feel the pressure. Can you just like walk us through some experiences that you would have had, like where the fans really, really, they showed up for you, or just like a story that you remember that resonated with you?
Well, thank God, because I knew what pressure I was playing under when I played for Trinidad.
Yeah.
I was determined to never play a bad game for Trinidad. And
Because you were repping your team.
Yeah, I came in with a lot of controversy surrounding me and so.
Okay.
So I was determined never to play a bad game for Trinidad. And thank God, I could maybe count on one hand
Yeah.
how many bad games I played for Trinidad. So, but I remember in Europe, playing for Grasshoppers, I played a game against FC Zurich, which is a local derby.
Yeah.
I didn't have a good game, and it went, the headlines in newspapers, Naked Zero. Naked Zero, big in the newspapers. And then the next game was against Basel, FC Basel,
Yeah.
in Basel Stadium, and I had 2 assists. And I had a great game, and went 0 to hero. So, you know, you're up one day, you're down the next, you're down one day, up the next. And that's the pressures you go through as a professional footballer, and you have to be able to withstand it. You have to keep yourself psychologically on an even keel.
Yeah.
You don't ever feel too elated when you do well, and you ever feel too depressed when you don't do well.
And you know, from your own experience, if you had to give advice to these World Cup players, let me just say a Lamine Yamal, because Lamine would have really, really represented for Barcelona. I feel like, you know, I watched Lamine grow up in front of me playing for Barcelona.
Right.
Because one day he was a boy and next minute he was taking charge of the team.
He's still a boy. But that's all right.
No, he's become like a man in football. I'm talking about his footballing prowess,
Yes.
right? Now he's going to play at this World Cup, and he's coming into, of course, a different setup. And I always say club football and World Cup football, two separate things. You don't really have enough time to gel with the team and all of that. And you can speak to that. Playing on a national team versus a club team, you just meet up with these people like.
Yeah. Well, it's been a bit different for the World Cup. They've been together for an unusual amount of time, as opposed to when they just meet on FIFA dates and so.
Yeah.
So they've been together, and they would have stayed in camp, and a lot of team bonding exercises and so that would take place. You know, so it's going to be a nice, cordial atmosphere, a feeling of brotherhood. So when they reach on that field, they're going to be fighting for each other all the time, every minute. And yeah, you know, we look forward to seeing that unity among the teams and how they can translate that into good football. You know, I'm waiting to see a football that will make us feel excited about football again, like we did in 1982 with Brazil, maybe in 2022 with Argentina, and before that with Spain when they won in 2010. You know, so we're looking for something this World Cup that will make us feel excited about watching football again.
Samson Naked, we live in a digital age, right? And this is perhaps the biggest digital World Cup that we will ever have, or the springboard of one of them. Do you think the superstars that we have on the teams, right? The Haaland, Mbappe, etc., do you think, and you mentioned about teams having a cohesive period prior to the World Cup, do you think that these egos can supersede whatever the managers may try to get the teams together to win a World Cup?
You know, we talk about egos and so, but egos are what makes teams. It's the players with the egos that tend to step up and shine through, you know. So let's not discount egos. You know, ego is important. It's how you use your ego and your feeling that you are a superstar, how you translate that into the benefit of the team. But it's the players with the egos and with the arrogance that we say that tend to step up in these tournaments and do well for their teams, and we shouldn't discount that.
Yeah, because their ego would not allow them to fail, and that's very beneficial to any team. And on that note, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I think this might very well be my favorite segment, but you'll find out after the break.
Being connected, it means a lot because, first of all, you can't do this by yourself.
When you have your phone, you always have somebody at your side
I could call for help, anything going like,
You know, I'm giving children the opportunity to experience outside of their neighborhood.
Digital is kind of a comfort, you feel good that people in your lives are always able to be contacted.
I was with the other network and I was having problems, so I joined Digicel and I never regretted it.
Coming up, hot plates, cold drinks, and chilled vibes were the order of the month in Antigua and Barbuda. Top chefs, tasty menus, influencers, and foodies. The boxes were ticked, kitchens buzzing, and grills fired up. It's the one and only Antigua and Barbuda Culinary Month. It's Caribbean Passport TV on TTT.
Unleash your imagination with TTT's terrific Toontime. Join us as we stop evil geniuses from taking over the world from Super Z. Or hop on board for a journey into outer space with Galaxy Kids. Be a part of our quest to save the forests alongside our robot pals from Bugs Bot Ignition. Or let's go exploring with Duda and Dada. Catch terrific Toontime weekdays at 4:15 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 a.m. It's fun-filled adventure with terrific Toontime right here on TTT.
Well, welcome back. Viewers, fans, we went outside and this is your segment.
The FIFA World Cup is in the air. My name is Adrian Lazar, and today we will be taking you across Port of Spain, where we will be hearing from fans on how they are feeling ahead of this year's premier competition and who they will be supporting.
I am feeling very great. I am back in Brazil. Why are you back in Brazil? Because Brazil has some of the best footballers that you can think about.
Argentina. Because I love Messi from ever since. Maradona and Kempes. Them is Argentines and I love them players.
I like England. Always by England. Will not draw. England, France. I would like Germany, Brazil. I beat the underdog side with it. That's what we're looking for, Underdog. I got better 1,000 than England.
Well, my favorite team is Brazil because I am a #1 fan of Neymar, and that's my best player in the whole team, the whole world.
So how you feel now of this year's World Cup?
Well, World Cup is the greatest football event in the world. It's probably the greatest sporting event in the world. And as a Trini, as a Brazilian, Brazil is my team. I'm not supporting no European. I'm not from Germany or England or Italy or one of them. I'm from this side of the world, right? So Brazil, but Neymar. Well, Brazil always play the best football. I mean, they might play a kind of little European thing now, but Brazil is still Brazil. And right, it's all 5 years now, they ain't win one, so they in line for what, 6th star? Yeah.
Excited are you ahead of this year's FIFA World Cup?
Well, yeah, it's the World Cup every 4 years. It's excitement. My expectations are plenty good games, passionate fans, but good football.
And who are you backing to win this year's World Cup, and tell me why?
Okay, so I back Germany. I think they have a good team this year. I think they could go all the way. They have good players. They have good young players. Good world-class players playing for big clubs. So yeah, I think they could win.
I always like World Cups. It's not necessarily this year. Love football, particularly when Trinidad and Tobago was in it. But we are not there now, but I still love the game, so it's great. Outside of wishing that one of our Caribbean people could be there, I'm supporting England. And why? I don't know. I went to school in England, lots of friends and people there, family. So I have a little special place in my heart for England.
Extremely excited. I'm an English football man. That finished, so I'm struggling to find something to watch. I'm watching documentaries and things. watching basketball documentaries, football documentaries, Rocky.
And Rick, if you had to pick one team to win this year World Cup, who would it be and why?
You talk about in real life or who I want to win?
Who you want to win? Who you
I
supporting for this year's World Cup?
I study in England. I look at English football. I'm an English fan through and through. I know men say, okay, so when England get knocked out, who you gonna support? When that time come. But you know, like the English say, it's coming home. I don't believe that this year. But you know what? I'm back in England right through. Always. True England supporter.
So that was really good, but I'm noticing a trend and I couldn't help but recognize that a lot of Trinis love Brazil and England, and that's all I got from that.
Well, you look at historically our connection to England is there.
Yeah.
So you hear them, a lot of them studied in England and they have family in England. So that's natural. The Brazilian connection is a bit more tenuous in that we've always seen ourselves as Brazilians, especially those who play football. We like to play, we project ourselves and we like to play like the Brazilians. And it's probably the first black team
where we could identify with.
Yes, that captivated the World Cup, and Pele came to Trinidad and people went crazy and so forth. And so on. So that is our identification with Brazil, which is a good one.
Yeah.
It's always good to emulate or imitate those that you wanted, that set the standard. But we have to, at some point in time, form our own identity as Trinbagonians. And maybe then we'll see ourselves rising in the football stage.
Now I'm very curious to find out, like when you were a young footballer, like fresh-eyed, now starting, was there any player that you used to look up to?
Well, several players. I'd always liked Cruyff, how he controlled the midfield. And then I liked Michel Platini. I'll say that he turned out to be a horrible person. But as a footballer, he was top class. I think the best French footballer ever. And of course, I like that whole midfield from Brazil in 1982, Falcao, Socrates, Zico, and Cerezo. So, I had several people that I looked up to and tried to pattern their game after them and so.
Santanaka, good that Mariah mentioned the inspirational aspect of it. You started football as a fan, obviously, watching football and stuff like that, and you transitioned to a national captain. How much of an impact do fans have on you as a national footballer, and especially in a situation where you have to play on the world stage like this?
Massive impact. You can't believe, when fans could really pick you up psychologically, and football, people tend to discount how important the psychological aspect is when you're going into a game and the kind of pressure. And when you hear fans calling your name, or you hear fans cheering on your team, it picks you up. It spurs you on to do better. And you feel like you can run all day.
Yeah.
Just for the jersey, for the flag of Trinidad and Tobago. And
in that same breath, when you hear the booing, and it's been a very common thing, the negative chants, what does that do to you?
Well, thank God I hear too many negative chants when I've been with Trinidad. We win 5 Shell Cups in our Caribbean Cups in a row. We went to the semi-final of the Gold Cup. So as one of those, in that period, in that epoch, we were doing quite well. So I must say, thank God. But I can imagine, because I've heard fans booing in Zurich, Belgium, when I played in Greece. And they boo when they're not satisfied. Fans don't boo just like that. And you are a professional player and you have to have the mental fortitude to deal with that. They're booing for a reason. And they'll come the next day in training and they'll forget that. And they'll clap you and they'll spur you on to do better.
Yeah. Well, we're going to wrap up this segment, but we do know that we have a big match tonight. I know you don't want to miss that match either. So we're going to talk about that when we come back from the break.
Since 1972, one sound has been living in the heart of Trinidad and Tobago, the longest running radio station in the nation.
We're your holiday soundtrack. Whether it's on your day off, long drives, or house lives, we are always sweet.
This is music with meaning, music with memories.
Music that feels like home.
And it's not just the songs, it's the voices you trust, personalities you've grown with.
Laughter that sounds familiar. This isn't just radio, it's tradition. It's memories. It's part of who we are.
Sweet 100.1 FM, the rhythm of our identity, part of your family.
Always 100, guide you on your way. Sweet 100, sweet 100.
There are a number of risk factors for heart disease, so a lot of attention has to be put towards preventive cardiology. What can we do to reduce the burden due to all these risk factors? Hypertension, diabetes, cholesterol, need to stop cigarette smoking, you gotta get people exercising.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
Every morning begins with a story, the headlines you need, the voices you trust, the conversations shaping our nation. Welcome to Trinidad and Tobago Today, where your day starts informed and inspired. News that matters to you, conversations that spark new ideas, stories that move Trinidad and Tobago forward. Tune in weekdays, Monday to Friday at 6 a.m. or join the conversation on any smart device at TNT Today Show. Trinidad and Tobago Today. Start here, exclusively on TTT.
Welcome back to the Final VAR. Staying with World Cup action, Group A's second match will kick off at 10 p.m. Trinidad and Tobago time tonight, with South Korea taking on the Czech Republic. And South Korea and Czech Republic kick off their World Cup campaigns in Guadalajara in just over 30 minutes. All eyes will be on South Korea captain Heung-min Son in what could be his final tournament, backed by Paris Saint-Germain duo Lee Kang-in and Lee Jeng-sun. But Czechia back at the World Cup for the first time in 20 years, bringing real height and crossing power up front. And Friday's matches will see Canada take on Bosnia-Herzegovina in Toronto from 3 p.m. Trinidad and Tobago time, and the USA will clash with Paraguay at Inglewood at 9 p.m. again Trinidad and Tobago time. And before we move on to the next segment, I'd just like to say a quick thank you to Kenny's Sports for decorating our lovely set here on the Final VAR.
Yeah, some beautiful items there, and we'll be giving those away. So again, for our viewers that are tuned in, they'll have the opportunity to answer a couple questions and they walk away with a lot of these items. Now to business. Big match tonight. I know you're in a hurry because you've got to watch that match. South Korea against Czechia. South Korea, we think about Son Heung-min and what he would have done. In his club career, he is within this side now. Talk to me about their chances.
Well, this is going to be the most important game for both teams, the first match. South Korea on paper might have an edge, given the kind of players that they have and where they're playing in Europe. Yeah. Czechia is a bit lesser known.
Yeah, a 20-year absence from the World Cup.
Exactly, and a bit lesser known in terms of where their players are placed in Europe.
Yes.
If you're going to use that as a yardstick. But Czechia could always surprise you. I mean, they always produce players of quality, and to reach to the World Cup in a very tough European competition, to reach to the World Cup, I think they will be value for money.
Yeah, a lot of talk about Thomas Suchek, who a lot of people have time for, and is a part of this Czechia squad. Do you have anything good to say about him?
He's a good player, and he's going to be a handful. He's going to be a handful.
You are a handful.
He's going to be a handful for Korea. It's not going to be an easy game. This might be a game that's decided on set pieces.
Yes.
With the dead balls and the corners and the free kicks. So we're looking forward. I just hope it's not a game that puts us to sleep.
But a lot of people are predicting a draw. Because I was doing some of my research and many people are saying it's a 1-1. But a part of me feels like we're going to get 0-0.
0-0? Well, we hope not. We want to see some goals this World Cup. The 2022 gave us some goals, and we're hoping that that trend continues. We had 2 goals earlier today. And, let's hope that 2 teams that might seem a little boring on paper, that they produce an excited game for the fans.
Yeah.
This is just stepping away a little bit from the on-field action. Games are starting 10 o'clock our time zone. Do you think that is a big thing for a lot of the older folks, especially, who may have wanted to watch the games and it's way past their bedtime?
It's past my bed. No, we love football and we'll stay up. We might fall asleep depending on how boring or how exciting the game is. But, it's reality now. They have to capture the television market. At 10 o'clock is a time that could be showing in Asia, that people could get up and watch the games. So a whole lot of things take place, but it's football and we're going to watch it. No matter how we talk about how late it is, how early it is, we're going to watch it.
As you make that point, I instantly think about, do you think football has become too much about the business and less about the passion and the fun? Because even access to these football matches, a lot of people don't have that easy access. So do you think it's all about the money?
Football has always been about the money.
No, but it's even more
in
visible.
your face now.
Yeah.
It's more in our face because everything is more open because of social media. But football is always about the money, except right now, it's the players who are getting a large share of the money.
Yeah, it was different before.
Yes, before the players weren't getting a lot of money, and the clubs were getting, and presidents of clubs and associations and FIFA. And right now, players, thank God, because of the Bosman ruling, they put themselves in situations where players are becoming millionaires at the age of 17 and 18. And it's the reality of our situation.
Yeah, but there are so many negative aspects if we were to really sit down and pinpoint so many things coming into this World Cup. But we just have to remember the love for football, and I know you know that best. The way that football is even able to bring countries together that are not taking part. Our Soca Warriors didn't make it to the World Cup, but we know that come these big matches, everybody's going to come together and forget about, any kind of problems that we may be facing and just enjoy that sort of feeling. And I think you could describe it best.
Football is a unifier, especially in Trinidad and Tobago. We have the East-West corridor, and a lot of football is played on the East-West corridor. And it does unify people. You're going to see people jumping up together in bars and congratulating each other who support the same team. And when the football game done, they mightn't say hello to each other. It's just the reality, David Rudder said it best, we don't vote how we party, And
100% correct.
Yeah.
It's just how it is.
Yeah. And they always say time flies when you're having fun. We have to remind them, though, we're about to have fun on the 19th of July, Nasira.
100%. We have a viewing party. So continue watching the Final VAR here and we'll give you more details on that. But viewing party on the 19th right here by TTT.
Yeah. All right. Is this where we wrap the show, producer?
Yeah, I'm hearing the director blowing a whistle in our ear, telling us.
All right, we gotta go.
90 minutes is up.
Yeah, we want to thank you, though. Of course, this is our first episode of the Final VAR. We plan to be doing a lot of giveaways. Join us every Thursday at 8:30 for the Final VAR as we progress towards the World Cup final. We'll see you then.
This is TTT. Live for local.
Nature is not a place to visit, it's our home. Nature is all that we see. Animals, insects, disappearing into their surroundings. Using deceptions, disguises, lures. Nature is all that we hear. The call of an eagle, the hiss of ocean spray, the rumble of thunder, the doings of a cricket. The wonderful beauty of nature, the crucial, fragile affinity between animal life and their environment. All of this is World of the Wild. The island of Madagascar. Stretching for nearly 600,000 square kilometers, this huge landmass spans tropical jungles, dry forests, mountainous highlands, and arid deserts. A landscape so large and diverse, it has been called the 8th continent. Splitting from the Indian Peninsula approximately 88 million years ago, life on Madagascar has evolved in relative isolation. Today, 80% of the island's plants and 90% of its animals are found nowhere else on Earth. In this episode, we explore the wildlife of this biodiversity hotspot to discover how lemurs have found success through diversification. Go between land and water with mudskippers, learn the specialized adaptations of eyes, witness the chameleon's unique hunting technique, and study how mongooses have evolved to meet the particular challenges of the island.